There, it finally broke loose. Wow! It broke. Oh no! You guys. Let's go take a look. And then just over here tidying stuff up, and I said, you know what? Let's go ahead. Since I'm here, we're going to unscrew these spark plugs and see if we can't turn this engine just a little bit. So they should only be in a couple rounds each. Shouldn't take too long. But since I'm here, I'm curious. The creeper's here, the breaker bar's here, the gunk is in the spark plug holes, and I'm just curious. So you guys watch up here. You're gonna be watching these little fan blades here, and I will go. Is there another light? Nope. Grab a light. One thing I noticed walking into the shop, and I'll go over the shampooing of the carpets and cleaning of the upholstery with you, but it smells way better in the shop today, and not mousy, which is good. All right, there's that. We're gonna give her a little tug and see what happens here. Oh my goodness, she's stuck pretty good, you guys. Let me go here. Okay. You know what? We might not be in neutral. No, we're in neutral. Third attempt, second full day of soaking. Now, I did good, and I remembered I didn't have Berryman's in my cocktail. So I squirted some Berryman's down in each cylinder, actually, and added it to the mix. Now, I did bad in that I didn't screw the spark plugs back in this time. So a lot of what I added may have evaporated overnight, but we're going to give her a shot anyway. Give you some light. Here, let's move you up here. Watching the fan blade right here again. I would like to see some movement. It would be really good, because the more I look into the cylinders after we started adding chemicals, the more I think the cylinder, especially number 2, isn't maybe as bad as what I originally thought. We're going to try again here. I suppose the Berryman's was the magic ingredient. It's pretty magical stuff, I think. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's just hard to get leverage under something so small. Oh, I'm straight to the cheater bar. I've got about, almost 3 feet on this guy. Oh, goodness.
A few minutes later.
Okay, here's the setup. It's a little janky. We got pry bar with breaker bar. Over here we're up against the sway bar, and we've got a floor jack under it holding pressure against the rotating mass of the engine. And now there's liquid in there. That one is dried up. We're going to once again refill. Okay, day 3 of letter soak. And let's check our mark. It hasn't moved. So we'll check tension on here, but yeah, it's, I think we're still, oh yeah. All right, well, so that didn't work. We've got another option though. And plan, I don't know, we're like E, D, E, F, I don't know. We're down the list on plan options. That did get one seat cleaned up really nice. Got to work on this one today. Here's the next step though for getting the engine unstuck. We're gonna go ahead and let it back down on the ground, front and rear, put the car in gear, and every once in a while we'll come over here and rock it back and forth. The theory is by rocking it, you're putting pressure both ways, and maybe, just maybe, we can get it to unstick in the backwards direction, and then we can just slowly work through the rough spots. I don't know if I explained that worth a darn or not, but that's the plan. We're gonna put the car on the ground and just start rocking it from time to time and see what we can get done. All right, we got her on the ground. Got my gloves on. We're gonna try, I think I got it in second gear. Let's see. Well, it didn't pop right out of the gate. We'll let her sit. Give her half an hour and I'll shake it up again. Day 4, I think. Something like that. We're still not broke free. We're still doing the Rocky method. Right here is our mark. I've jiggled things a couple times already today, but we'll do some vidya. Okay. It ain't gonna go. Okay. Well, next step, I'm gonna go eat some lunch. And then the next thing is, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull the starter and see if there isn't a way to get a tooth of the flywheel to pry upon and get it to break loose that way. Well, it's day 5 of can we get the MG engine unstuck? We can't. And now we're doing this. We tried, I put power to it, and you'll have to wait. I'll have to do another video because a lot of the stuff works. The radio worked. We're missing though a fan switch that's goobered up and a headlight switch that is broken and a couple other little things, but it's gonna be in pretty good shape. Now, engine wise, it is coming out and we're actually pretty close. We're to the point where we've got exhaust on the bottom end, exhaust and intake on the top end, bell housing bolts, motor mounts, and she's going to be coming out of here. Now this whole panel with the radiator and everything out here, it comes off all together, and we're going to take the radiator out and take it to the shop. But we started having trouble getting these oil cooler lines to come apart here. So we just left her all together and took it all out, which is, you know, just fine. It worked out. So yeah, we are gonna go ahead and pull this engine, break it down, and see what's wrong with it. Now, so far, just pulling things apart, everything looks pretty good. We have had some coolant leaking, and again, I am suspicious of the head gasket just externally leaking over here. Now, this is a frost plug here, and it's not expanded none of these. There's 3 of them right here. So the thing didn't freeze. It had kind of a clear colored coolant in it that was, I thought it was pretty darn rusty. Turns out it really wasn't that bad. There's been way worse. So I'm feeling pretty good about it, but it's going to need a lot of little things. Like this is a valve that controls the flow of coolant to the heater, and we're probably going to go ahead and get a heater core for it, and we're going to have this valve, and we're going to have a water pump. You know the deal. So we're into this okay, but it sure isn't going to be one of them cheap and easy flips like you usually see on the interwebs. This is real life of a car rescuer, you know. So even though a lot of dudes and dudettes might just show you the good news, this one ain't all strawberries and moon pies. She's a fighter. I'm gonna tell you, some of the stuff on this little British car makes you think, ooh, what a cool idea. You know, that was neat of them to do that. And then other stuff is just like, why? So at least in this one, and maybe if you know these bees, this is a little 1800 4-cylinder. If you know, tippy tap down in the comments. But I could not for the life of me get the starter out of this area. We ended up having to take the distributor out here and pull the starter from the top, because this little bracket for the clutch hydraulic line would not allow the starter to drop down that way. It looks like there's plenty of room, but my goodness, there isn't. It's just not room. And then the distributor was stuck in the distributor hole. And I think you can see now why we were going to do head gasket work on this engine anyway. We've just been leaking outward here. And then the other thing that fought us, I'm telling you what, you're never, if you have one of these, if you ever have an exhaust leak at the collector, you know, you win the jackpot lottery, because we took the little collars down. You can see one of them down in there right there. And then, oh my God, we had to actually heat the exhaust flanges, and then finally we were able to tweak and torque this manifold enough to get it to separate from the exhaust piping. And you know, this is one of those things, it's really cool little manifold for a tiny little 4-cylinder into dual outlets. But then you come over here and you're like, you can't pull the manifold because the steering linkage apparatus here from the steering, the shaft, it won't let you pull it out all the way. So you have to double nut the end studs on the exhaust manifold and extract those, and then you fight with your 2 pipes. So we're making headway though. We're not giving up. We've got one little thing on these motor mount. Everything, did you know, just about everything on this little British 1800 is either a 1/4-inch bolt, but 90% of the stuff is 5/16 and usually fine thread. Now on the motor mounts, they've got these plates that bolt on here on the top, and they kind of shield 2 bolts that go on the back side here. There are 4 total, and I'm sorry, there's a light down there shining you in the face right there. And so if you take that plate off though, you can get those back 2 bolts out. So now we're left with just these 2 bolts on either side, and then we can pull the engine out. I don't think we could have pulled it out because these studs would have interfered with this plate coming straight up. We've got the top 2 bell housing bolts out. We've got 2 more on this side, 3 more if you count the very bottom ones. And we've got 2 more on this side because one of the starter bolts kind of acts like one. So we've got that one, and then one on the very bottom. And then same thing with the motor mount over here, 2 bolts here. So we're gonna rig up a chain. I think we're gonna pull off of this little ear off of the thermostat housing, and then we're gonna screw back in the back exhaust manifold bolt here and drip a chain like that. We'll get a floor jack under the transmission with a block or two. Let's get that rigged up, and I think we shouldn't have any trouble pulling this engine with the hood on the car, because without the radiator and all that stuff up here, we can come up a little bit, and then we've got all kinds of room to go forward and up and out of here. What's about this angle? Would this angle be decent to watch from? I don't know. Let's put you there. A little light. Let's do close here. That'll work. Okay, now are we gonna hit the hood or not? I think we're gonna be okay.
It's got a pretty strong arch to it. We might be able to make it out.
I think I got everything unhooked. I didn't even take any wires with us this time. And just like that, we're not trying to pry on the engine in the car anymore. It's out. Yeah, we popped this loose, and a couple things about this car. Number one, we're gambling. We got our fingers crossed that the engine's healthy, other than it's got a stuck piston. And number two, we think, well, we know this is a very low miles car, and we'd like to see more evidence of that. So let's pull a valve cover here. Look at that. Look at that. A little bit of varnish, aerial, what do they call it? They did from the vapor varnish. And then look here. It's like new. It's like friggin' new. We still got to get the pistons knocked loose. I'm going to pull the cylinder head next, and you guys can see what that looks like. So we've got a rocker shaft, kind of reminiscent of the old Mopars here. And looks like this shaft stud is also a stud for the head gasket, or for the head it looks like. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is going to be holding the head down, and 11. So 11 maybe? That's not bad. Okay, so a couple that may have been a little
Questionable.
questionable or lesser torque than the others.
Pretty dry up here. You can tell she ain't been in a
Yeah,
while.
it's been sitting for a little bit. Okay.
Ooh.
That's crankcase moisture. More crankcase moisture.
Yuck.
More crankcase moisture. Maybe we had, oh, these had belts. I believe. Yeah, it's going. Ooh. Sticky on that end. I can see moisture right here already.
Ooh, yeah.
See if she'll come up here. Nope. Ow. There. Where did it go? But it looks, see how dark gray this is?
Yeah.
All along here.
Oh, so.
It's like it just hasn't been sealing there. Yeah. So head side, you know, there's some carbon in there, but this is flaky. This is moisture growing on the deposits in the cylinder. The head itself looks pretty okay, but I don't think, see this dark, here, let me, see how here we're nice and metally colored looking, plus we have some gasket here, it's just a paper gasket. But up here, and this is that edge, exterior edge, all along here, it's really dark. In fact, we actually have what I would say is surface rust here because we're not sealing right in through here. So I think we're on to something. Now on the other end, I'm gonna have to figure out how to strategical way of emptying out these cylinders though. And I'm not sure how that's gonna happen, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. It might look bad, but it could look a whole heck of a lot worse. Since we had, you know, break it free solution in 3 of these cylinders anyway, I just took the little wire brush on the end of the drill impact driver and went through and did some cleaning. So it worked so good, I'm going to do it on number 2 here. Yeah. Nothing too drastic. Here's the lame rags that we got sent to us with our wipe-on clear coat. You want to see a... Yeah. Go watch that video, would you, and see how that whole thing turned out. But in just a few weeks, believe it or not, we might be doing a little round 2 action. Could you believe it if we did? Okay. Look at that. Look how that cleaned up just that little bit of wire brush. Wow. It's going to be, we might be okay here.
It still won't make like a full revolution, will it?
No, we're still stuck as stuck can be, but we might actually
Give it a
try to See if we can't turn it a little bit here, but I don't know. I wish I had knocked that lifter out of the bore down there. Darn it. I'd take the lifter access cover off though, and that's not bad at all. No.
It's just dirty.
It's dirty now. Okay, we got updates. I wish they were feel-good news updates, but they're not. Seems like every time we unravel a little bit more information, it's not the positive kinds. So update number one, you saw the oil pan, I think. If you didn't, we'll show you here. In the bottoms, we have a quagmire of moisture and oil. In fact, the moisture has evaporated out, so now we have about a ½ inch of, I think what used to be dinosaurs in there. But so we got that going on. So obviously, you know, kind of like the Saratoga, go back and watch that video. We've got a similar situation going on here. I don't think we've got a compromised block, cracked that is. It might be compromised in other ways that we're going to get to here in a second. But is it fuzzy? Do I need to wipe? Here, let's get a peach crown oil bag. There we go. Anywho, I don't think it's cracked, but it's been, well, let's just show you. It's been leaking coolant into the crankcase in an area that also, well, compromises some other things. So there's a couple, well, there's several unique things about this engine, but one of the things is that there's a plate on the front of here. We took the timing cover off, the timing chain is off, and then there's a plate very similar to this plate. It's over yonder, a little thinner, but there's a gasket and then the plate and then the timing set and timing cover and water pump and all that goodness. And then you have these two rocker accesses, and they're, or I shouldn't say rocker access, lifter access points, covers. They're up here. One of them has a breather that goes into the air cleaner. Lot. Well, maybe you can tell. This one, you look in here, not too bad, a little dirty. This one, you look in here, oh boy. So we've got a little window joining the two, but basically what I believe has happened is we've had a compromised head gasket in this area, and it's letting coolant that should be retained in this passage just come over here and leak. And you can kind of, I don't know, you can kind of see, but I think, but I don't know, it just ain't good. And what has happened as a result, we're able to pluck the two lifters for the first two cylinders out with the magnet. The other four are rusted in the bores. I don't know how bad, but it sure looks pretty bad. Now, they are at or near the top of their bore, so there's a slight chance, if we can tippy tap them out of there, that we can dress that up and life will be okay. But yeah, we're starting to hit more negatives than positives. And the next step here is we still can't turn it. Oh, and by the way, the oil pump right there, this guy, is I got the pickup off, but the oil pump will not come loose. I've hit it with the biggest dead blow I have. I've pried on it with pry bars, you know, just along between it and the casting for the block, just to let it, you know, it should, they say in the book, it says one smart blow with a plastic headed hammer and it'll come loose and you just remove it. Well, it's not, and I think it's seized anyway, so we're kind of past that. If we have to break it to get it out of there, hit it with a real hammer, we'll just replace it. But we got that going on as well. Now I put this on the stand with this plate attached because it was easier to do that way. And now we need to get the main bearing caps off, and the right way to do that is to remove the front plate and the back plate, so we can do that, because then we can get the crank out, and then we can go about, first of all, trying to get pistons pushed out. Maybe we need lifters out so we can get the camshaft out, and yeah. So I got to get this on the cherry picker, take the back plate off, put it back on the engine stand, flip it over, and we'll start pulling main caps and eventually at least get a crankshaft out of this thing. And so far the crankshaft is in beautiful condition. That's and the cylinder head is in pretty darn good condition. And nope, and that's about it. All right, progress has been made. The back plate is off. We're back on the engine stand with only 2 trips to the hardware store because I'm a dingus and got the wrong size bolts the first time. And we've got the 3 center main caps off. Everything looks really good with this crank. We've got the rear off, and it's kind of like a Mopar big block. It slides down in there, and there's a seal, and then there's a gasket, and there's whatever. Not totally like it, but similar. And we've got to take the front out. Now let me show you how we do this on the cap itself, on the front and rears, that is. These you just wiggle wobble like you do any other main cap, but we have a 1/2 inch fine threaded bolt hole in the front and rear main caps, and that allows you to thread in a 1/2 inch fine thread something or other to pull on this with. So what I fashioned up is I might get you in close here for the action shots. I was digging through the old bolt bin and I found what appears to be a universal bottom, lower, or upper shock mount. And it's got 1/2 inch fine threads here. This is where your shock would normally mount. And then we've got 5/8 fine threads here. This is the part that you bolt into your shock bracketry, your frame, or whatever you make. And then our 5-pound slide hammer is 5/8 fine thread here. So we've got this nut on here. Now we're only catching a couple threads, so we're gonna snug this down, but it was strong enough to get the back out. Let's see if we can knock the front out with it here. I'm gonna retighten this. It looks like it came loose just a tickle bit. There we go. We're gonna come in here. Thread her down in there. I don't know, 5-6 revolutions, that should be enough. And then bink, 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 bink. Huh? That works pretty slick right there. There's our bearing. We'll drop him back in where he came from. Now we're ready, hopefully, I thankfully, to pop this crank out finally. Here we go. All right. Okay, I better put this down. Come on. Come on. There. Okay. Crankshaft out. Oh gosh, we've got stuck rods. Wow, you guys. My goodness. We should be able to pull them around a little bit. It's just a little sad. Let's see if we can make a move here. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oopsie. Come on. Wow. Everything in this engine is stuck. It's just gummed up, rusty. Well, not rusty. The crank's beautiful, but I don't know. Okay, this one's close to being acceptable. So the further back you go, the more contamination happens. Absolutely no ridge. Come on. Those rings are floating. I want to get either. One more sucker. I don't know. And numeral 40. Wow. Shouldn't want to come out too bad. I think it's moving. Well, we still got a good top ring there. Everything else is stuck. Okay. Number 4. All right, I was able to put the nut for the cam sprocket back on the camshaft and get it to turn. And I think we're gonna be able to get it out of here. I tapped the lifters down into their bores a little bit, but we're catching on something now. I gotta look here. Oh, it's the oil pump drive. We gotta get that oil pump out of there. Okay, I should have known that. Well, here's the deal. This guy is pretty much seized up as well. So at this point, I'm just gonna come in here. We gotta knock this loose off of here because this is the pump and then there's a shaft that goes down and engages the cam, of course. So at this point, it's time to sacrifice the oil pump unless it comes out nice. Are you kidding me? Wow. There, it finally broke loose. Wow! It broke. Oh no! You guys. My goodness, it was seized up so solid. Oh no. Dang it. This is lame. This is really, really lame. Okay, another next day alert. We are a full week into this MG. And yeah, I need to get back into money making ventures instead of money spending ventures. Now to get you caught up, we're breaking down this engine. It's had water in it. I really do think the block might be savable, but it just keeps giving us bad news after bad news. And the latest bunch of that is there's an oil pump that bolts on here, and you're supposed to, according to the manuals, give it one smart blow with a soft-headed hammer and pull it out. Well, we tried that, and then we escalated, and we ended up breaking. It bolts on here, and then there's a nubbin that goes in and centers the drive shaft for the pump, and it's aluminum, and it goes down into here. Well, it broke off, so we've got slide hammer back out. We went and bought at the freight harbor a $90 tap and die set just so we could get over 1/2 inch. So we've got this nubbin tapped out as best we can to 9/16 course, and then we found another 5/8 fine nut in the bolt bin, and we found a 9/16 course spare bolt in the bolt bin. We've got her tack welded together. We're gonna screw this down into here and attempt to extract what's left of this oil pump. And I'm gonna get pretty aggressive with the screwing in because we aren't tapped cleanly all the way to the bottom of this hole. We're gonna run out of good stuff here pretty quick, but if we can just get a good grip, I think we'll be all right. I'm gonna get a dinner roll wrench and give us just another 1/2 turn or so. We want it tight, but we don't want to expand that aluminum to a point where it's pressing out on the steel. So here we go. It's coming. Are you on? Yeah, you're on. It's coming. See that? Woo! Holy Moses. How else could we have ever gotten that out? And this shaft is supposed to come out of here yet. Woo-wee. That is nastiness. But we won. We got it out. Okay, we got it finally. So there's a distributor drive gear, and I'm thinking V8 stuff where it's the gear on the bottom of the distributor. Well, it isn't. On the side, on the distributor side of the MG block, after you take the distributor out, there's a plate here that has a nubbin sticking out of it, and it has a recessed set screw that luckily we got out. A little flat-headed recessed set screw, that guy right there. And then you can take that plate and that nubbin out, and then inside of that, and you know, the water just found its way to the worst areas that it could possibly contaminate in this engine. Anyway, this goes up into here, and luckily they thread it for a 5/16 spine thread bolt, and with a little bit of leverage, we didn't have to slide hammer or nothing this time. This comes out the distributor side. So that's out. Now we should have no obstructions left to getting our camshaft out of here. And I'm going to say this right now, the amount of barnacles we got growing on stuff, I'm almost going to guarantee that yeah, we're coming right out now. Even if we keep this block, come on now, there we go. We're going to be cobbling parts. Oh yeah, look at that cam lobe right there. Oh goodness, we're pitted for sure. That's all right. It is what it is. So we're probably going to be nabbing parts out of that other MG engine or buying new. We're going to have to, you know, do the adds and subtracts and figure out what is the correct way. I mean, we still have a very low miles car, and we need to do this the right way. But first things first, we take a close look at cylinders in this engine and some of these other passages, like this passage for the oil pump. I think it'll clean up okay. But yeah, we're gonna flip this over and look at our cylinders next. And I don't know if I just recorded this or not, but we had to knock out the last 4 solid lifters, and they're over here now. They're really nasty looking, but the bores don't look horrible, and actually the cylinders don't look horrible. But for the sake of this video, we're torn down to where now we can take a close look at this block and figure out whether we're going to try and save it or if it's savable or not. We've got lifter bores number 1, cylinder bores number 2, and then that bore, I guess, where the oil pump goes down in. It was super crusty, but I think maybe all those will clean up. I don't know. When we went from maybe spending 2 days is what we estimated to figure out what this little MG needed, get it cleaned up, get the motor freed up, and at least make a plan, to now we have spent an entire week fighting this little guy, and yeah, we're still not sure, but we're still going to try and save this engine if we can. We'll get through it one way or another. Thanks for watching this one. Stand by for part 2. We're going to take a closer look at this little engine block and see how savable it is, if at all, and then we're probably going to have to start cobbling some pieces together, ordering parts, all that good stuff. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you on the next video.